For the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Adam Schiff of California. Congressman, we have more breaking news we're following tonight about the death of another ISIS leader. We learned today that a top ISIS leader, a guy by the name of Wael Adel Salman, was killed in a drone strike earlier this month. He was one of the few ISIS leaders believed to have had direct access to Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. This leader. Is the U.S. getting closer to taking out al-Baghdadi himself and other top ISIS leaders in a significant way?
Well, we have been taking out a lot of those very close leadership to al-Baghdadi, and it's unquestionably a sign that our intelligence is really improving. I think ISIS on the battlefield is under greater pressure than ever before as we succeedingly pick off their leadership, as we diminish their financial resources, as we're, I think, cutting off the flow of recruits into Iraq and Syria. It's much diminished from what it has been. They're still lethal, and there's still a lot of political challenges to overcome, as well as military in Iraq and Syria. But the trends on the battlefield are very positive, and we see a reflection of that in our improving intelligence and our ability to take out this top leadership like Salman.
Do you believe the Russian government is behind the latest string of cyber attacks targeting the Democratic National Committee and other Democrats?
I do, and I really think the administration ought to call Russia out on what it's doing. I think this is just appalling that the Russians appear to be trying to interfere with our elections. We've seen this happen in Europe before. We have not seen it happen in the United States. And my own view, whether it's their cyber attacks or their invasion of their neighbor or what they're doing in Syria, is the only thing Russia really respects is a strong response. And I think we need to push back. And I think that begins with a public accounting of what Russia is doing. So I have been urging the administration, along with my colleague, Senator Feinstein, to call out Russia on its cyber activities and the threat that it poses to us.
Congressman Mike McCall, the chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, told me this week that Republican political operatives have had their emails hacked. Do you know anything more about who else may have been hacked?
No, I'm not at liberty to go into that, but I can say this. There's every reason to believe that the Russians aren't simply interested in one party from the point of view of intelligence gathering. We would expect them to be probing the private files of both Democrats and Republicans, and certainly anyone of interest that may hold a position of responsibility. What we are seeing is that the information being dumped tends to thus far have been directed at injuring Secretary Clinton, interfering with the Democratic Party. So people can draw the conclusions from that as they will. There's plainly, I think, an interest the Russians have in electing Donald Trump as president for a whole variety of reasons. But the fact that the Russians and others are interested in our presidential candidates or are interested in doing foreign intelligence gathering, we fully expect that that would be bipartisan.
Do you anticipate there will be more leaks before the election day?
Yes, I do. Unfortunately, I think this is now the new norm. We're in a cyber Wild West where these things are going to continue to get leaked, where new people are going to continue to get hacked. It's incredibly, I think, damaging and destructive. And I think it signals that we have to maintain a stronger deterrent. We have to be willing to call out those who are responsible, because what we're doing thus far isn't deterring this kind of conduct at all. And unless we want to see a lot of mischief with our political processes, we're going to need to start pushing back.
Do you believe that our election in November will be safe and secure? The results won't be tampered with or hacked?
I don't think that the foreign hackers can change the outcome. But I do think they have the ability to call into question some of the election results. And if they're able to do that in a few swing states, or they're able to delay or somehow bring about a cloud of uncertainty over a particular election result in a pivotal state, that would be deeply damaging. All of those like you and I who remember Florida all too well in 2000 know what that means. And here we have a 4-4 Supreme Court. The balance of the Supreme Court is in question. So if we had a Bush versus Gore Supreme Court decision on this, you can imagine what that might look like. So it is a very deep concern, but I think the greatest concern, frankly, is that they sow discord in this country, that they cast doubt on the election results, rather than that they have the actual ability to change the result.
One final question very quickly. Did the Russians hack Colin Powell's email?
I can't comment on that, but again, I think that the administration needs to be ready to move forward with a public accounting of those who are hacking into American, both former administration officials or political parties. I think we need to call out the responsible parties, and I think the administration also needs to think about what consequences need to be put in place.
Congressman Adam Schiff of California, thanks for joining us.